So there's this little guy, and I've put him in a setting. There's a flower there and stuff. And I've shown you how to do the background. I did, if you watch my video called ditch art, or my blog post about ditch art, then you'll see how I did the background. And then I put this guy on top, and he's done with markers. Now I've drawn this cat image here, and I want to do it sort of in, I think, watercolor. So I want it to look like this guy's outside, and this scene with the cat is inside a window. But we'll see how that works out. So I'm going to be reviewing this book, Draw Real Animals by Lee Hammond. And as you can see, that's where this guy came from. So he's a part of the review. And then that's James's Sloppy Joe sandwiches and chocolate cake. And I'm going to review Promise at Dawn. And then I don't know what we'll do from there, but so I hope you like seeing my little guy there. And you probably can't see him anymore because now I'm sitting here, but there we go. Maybe now you can. So in this book, Lee Hammond shows how to draw a squirrel, and really there's a couple that she shows how to draw. She shows how to draw, she says, she starts out by showing you these things that you probably did when you were a kid. I did. And then she's explaining, well, these sort of things are basically like how people draw using a grid pattern. And so that's what I did, but I didn't want my squirrel to be either of these sizes, so I kind of ballpark measured in the middle of these, and I didn't have a ruler, but it worked out okay. So even if you don't have a ruler and you're just ballparking, this is easy. This is a very good way to do this, and I've never done this style before, which seems silly because it seems like, well, this would be the first thing you'd go for, but I've never tried it before because I've always just drawn on white paper, and then I'm like, well, I can't erase my lines properly, right? But now that I'm drawing on top of these ditch art pictures that I've already made quite a lot of pattern in the background there, my lines don't really show up. So I did the grid pattern, and I'm like, well, look at that. It doesn't matter. I can use the grid pattern for this, and erase the lines afterwards, and I think we're looking pretty good. So she shows how to do the squirrel, and she also shows how to do this guy. So you have a dinosaur, and she shows how to do it upside down and how it'll work out better if you do it upside down. Now I didn't do mine upside down, I did it right way up, but you know what? It's true. If you turn your drawing upside down, if you draw upside down and backwards from where you would normally, like if you write this way, which in our culture we do, then draw this way and draw like this. So just try it. Anyway, so she goes through the whole process. So basically this is draw real animals. This isn't, I didn't draw him. I colored him in with markers, like I said. So she doesn't show how to work with color, but she's showing a lot of stuff here. So she's showing how to shade different shapes and stuff like that. So she doesn't show from different light sources. You'll have to look at a different book for that. But there's all sorts of things in here, and you might be looking at some of it and go, that doesn't look like a bird very well, or whatever. But you know what? This is going to get you going some places. She shows how to draw white, a polar bear. So you have the polar bear, and she says make sure you shade. So she's working with, it's a little rolled, I can't remember what they're called now. I'll find it in the book here. Well, tortillions, these little paper rolled things. So that's on page 22. So she's using that to shade, and so she says, well, you know, the bear is going to look whiter if you shade in the background, right, around the bear. And then she shows a black dog. it's very, very hard to draw white or black animals. And she says that's what kids always, she's showing how to, for kids, this is for kids. So she's showing how you can draw a black dog, which a lot of people, they'll have a black lab and you know, they're 10 or 12 years old. A lot of the people in this, that she's shown their artwork. She's shown how, so anyway, they'll have a black dog. They'll want to draw their dog, probably. Kids probably want to draw their dog or their cat. Well, she shows how to do that. And she goes through, she says, here's a reptile eye, here's an owl, here's a cat's eye, and, you know, so just to show, and that's a deer, a doe. And I didn't know that they have oval-shaped pupils. I had never noticed that.
Wouldn't want to get that close.
No, I guess I haven't. So,
Look
but
at
she should. Oh, and speaking
like
of,
magic.
I'm gonna
Little
show
baby deer.
right now.
He's been hanging around this, or she's been hanging around this neighborhood.
Oh, I'm caught here. Oh no! Where'd he go? Oh, he's right behind. Hi, little fella. How's it going? Yeah, I'm worried about that little guy because I'd never see the mama.
Yeah.
Just a little guy. I don't know. Yeah. Well, luckily we're having a warm fall and we'll hope things will work out okay for that little guy. I don't have anything on the deck dinner that he'd be interested in eating right now.
It's amazing.
Usually I
It's
do.
like
Usually.
actual observation.
Yeah.
She started talking about deer's
a
eyes
doe and
and the little
there
thing
we
turned
go.
up.
So anyway, then she shows hair and fur, how to draw that. And there's the, we're getting back to the squirrel. So this is where she brought me with the squirrel, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to do this with my colors because I don't want to draw. I wanted to do it in marker, right? And so I just used a bunch of different colors. There's a lot of purple and brown, a little bit of reds, and some orange and yellow hues in there too. And I have a little bit of black that I've used. So I've used quite a lot of colors in mine. But yeah, she shows how in this picture how you can make it look like trees in the distance by just using a dirty, well, graphite laden tortillon, right? So you just shade that and then you just clean off your no, not really, but smudge it off there. So yeah, she shows a lot of animals done by kids in here, and she'll show the first attempt and then the second attempt so that you get an idea of where the how the kid made some progress along the way. And right now I'm not finding them, but oh, there we go, right at the beginning. So this I'll show you. This is the first attempt of a dog by somebody age 12, and then the second one, and first attempt of the hamster, and then the second one, right? So that's what I was thinking. The kids are wanting to draw their pets, and that's really sweet that they do. So, and this method with the grid, I think any child that's, you know, she has the 10 to 12 kind of range here, could draw a hamster or their dog or their cat, so that they really look like the person that they are. It's a great method. It's a great book, really. And at first, if you're flipping through, you might be like, oh, I don't want my animals to look like that. Just try the method. It doesn't, you know, it's a great thing. A lot of the time, I'll get into writer's block or art block about what I'm doing. And a good thing to do when you get into a block like that is like, I had I think it was an instructor that in English that told me, told the class that if you get into a block, you can't write, just start writing. And I don't necessarily believe in that. But if you get into a block with writing or drawing, you can pick out a book, an instructional book or a DVD, and just start working through the things. And you might think, oh, well, I want to put a squirrel there, and I might want to, you look through your ditch art pictures that you've done, and you go, this sort of looks like a cat would fit in there, or whatever, or like it should be there, right? And it starts doing any, especially these kids sort of things or whatever, but any sort of art technique instructional book, it starts getting you going again. And it can be humbling. Don't let it be. I mean, pick out, this is for kids, but you know what? That's a pretty good squirrel.
You gotta start off somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know.
The idea is to be humble but not humiliated.
Yeah. Just keep working away. So, and with writing, I mean, you could pick out maybe somebody else's poetry and read somebody else's poetry and go, oh yeah, that's beautiful. I love the imagery here, and that might just trigger you to do something creative in some way or something. So, Promise at Dawn. Now this one was a bit long, and it's subtitles, so this was French, but I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know that from Charlotte Gainsbourg being the lead actress. She's done English roles, speaking ones. So now it says 130 minutes, so that's quite long, and it's a story based on the award-winning novel by Romain Gary, and it's story he's written about his childhood. So from Poland and then to France, and then all over the war, he was traveling around and stuff like that, World War II. And anyway, I thought Charlotte Gainsbourg did an amazing job in this. She played a character that I don't believe this is her. She always seems so nice and kind of gentle in other roles, but this one, she's quite an obsessive mother who I don't like her. I don't like this character. She's she'll tell one day her son was getting picked on by a group of guys and bigger than him, and they were calling down his mom. So he goes home and he tells her about it, I suppose, because I don't know how she found out about it else. And she's telling him, next time you better come back on a stretcher, if you're or don't come back, because you need to stand up for me and all this kind of stuff, right? She's very much into, fighting it's honorable for a man to fight if he's, or a boy, if he's fighting for love, for a woman, for honor, and for France. So she's very much into that. So she's not my kind of person, but you know what? This movie was worth watching. In spite of it being so long, I still thought they did a good job. And I'll try to show you what happens with this later on, this picture. I don't know if it's going to work out, because I'm going to try to put watercolor cat on top of watercolor. You see, the thing is I don't want the cat to stand out as much as the little squirrel here, because I want the squirrel to seem like he's out here eating seeds. I don't have squirrels here, but I have birds that come, and I put seeds on the windowsill over there, and then so I want it to be just other people probably do what I do, put seeds on the windowsill, and then have the cat inside watching, right? Because that's what cats do.
They do like standing on it.
They do. Do you want to talk about anything?
No, I just want to get inside.
Okay.
Well, I got cold during my treatment today.
Oh,